From the 60s to today, I've reacted against the conventional passive relationship between spectator and the artwork. In the 60s and 70s, I worked a lot with inflatables that invited physical participation. Also engaging the public outside the museum and outside the gallery, going into urban spaces and creating situations of opportunity for public interaction. The transformation of sculpture from an object you look at to an object you can get inside of, so as to create extraordinary experiences like walking on water. In The Legible City, which I created in 1989, the viewer rides a bicycle through an urban landscape where the buildings are all made up of text. As you bicycle freely around, you are recombining words and phrases into a personal narrative. An interactive artwork has very much to do with the design and functionality of the interface. Pushing this handle rotates a monitor through a database of hundreds of images. Somewhere between a head-mounted display and the cave, this interface connects head tracking to a robotic projector inside a dome. In this way, you can explore an immersive, spherical, virtual world simply by moving your head. I also created a chair as the interface. Rotating it and leaning back and forth controls your movements in the virtual world, as well as the synchronous rotation of the motorized platform that you're sitting on, a mixed reality experience. Hampi is a heritage site in India, and this rotating platform lets viewers explore it in 360 degrees and 3D. This is the rotating dual camera system we use to capture 3D photographic panoramas. And these are the left and right eye photographs which were then scanned. The scanned images were then used to construct a virtual Hampi landscape. In many of these panoramic scenes, we composited 3D animations of Hindu gods, such as Ganesha. Navigating Hampi's virtual landscape, you can choose to enter one or other of its cylinders and then view its heritage sites as surrounding one-to-one scale 3D experiences. Entering another of its sites, we encounter Shiva, who is dancing on the rooftop of this temple. New media art is very much about blurring the boundaries between the real and the virtual. Mixed reality is very much about immersive experiences. The interface in this early cave artwork is a wooden puppet with sensors in all its joints. By manipulating the puppet, the viewer modulates the real-time imagery as well as the real-time soundscape. The mannequin also lets you travel from one virtual world to another. This pioneering augmented reality artwork uses a TV screen that you can hold in your hands and lets you view a virtual golden calf standing on the real pedestal. Today's upgraded version of this artwork uses a tablet, optical tracking, with 4 video cameras embedded in the pedestal. Viewers can now see their real-time reflection in the skin of the golden calf. This artwork's mixed reality also derives from its real-time performativity. The work in itself and the work as it's being interacted with. For an exhibition on Leonardo da Vinci, we made an augmented reality installation that lets you enter the cave he painted in the Virgin of the Rocks. Again, using tracked iPads, you can go behind the foreground figures and explore a detailed model of that cave with all its rockery, plants, and a vista across a lake. In an interactive world, a major challenge is the construction of interactive emergent narrative. In this installation, we recorded the renowned Singaporean poet Edwin Thumboo reciting 28 different poems and then put them in a 360-degree 3D projection environment. Using a microphone to control a virtual microphone, the viewer could choose which poem to listen to, and in cutting between them, create new and unique poetic combinations.
Drink from the nectaries. For instance, matter of fact, enjoy 2 oversized cars as per ski lodge. You give time enough, O Father of Light. Matter of fact.
Head-mounted display VR has made narrative in the round into a hot topic. The solution I came up with in 2004 was to create a space of multiple interconnected narratives that the viewer could freely navigate. This vision of an interactive cinema on the one hand is linear, and yet it allows the viewer to become the camera person and editor, so that everyone assembles their own personal movie experience. This mixed reality installation, Unmakeable Love, from 2008, is based on a text by Samuel Beckett. It puts a community of virtual humans in a 3D back-projected 6-sided enclosure. Spectators can view this community of virtual humans using torches positioned around the 6 screens. These torches project virtual light beams to illuminate the algorithmically animated and real-time behavior of these virtual figures. The special mixed reality feature is that you can use your torch to illuminate both the virtual world and the real person who is standing opposite you on the other side of the projection structure. In this artwork, Fall Again, Fall Better, pulling the handle causes a group of virtual humans to fall, and then rise up again when it is released. Another version of this work uses a switch inside a mat on the floor that you can stand on. Notice that every time this group of virtual figures fall, they fall differently. The algorithm that controls their behavior will never let them fall the same way twice. So by standing on the mat, you cause a unique event. This work is currently on exhibition in Germany, projected onto a wall 250 meters long and 10 meters tall. Safe House is an installation in response to the situation we are facing in COVID times. There is a steel locker cabinet, printed with a microscope image of the COVID virus. Using a tablet, you can open its doors and find someone inside, either an elderly man or woman, who are each exercising repetitively. They have learned all their exercises from watching video games. In this work, the double is a deep fake of Master Lam Sai Wing, the great martial artist of early 20th century Hong Kong. His movements were animated by his great-grandnephew, who we motion captured for the purpose. Here we can see how reality and virtuality can enact a continuum between past and present. That past-present digital continuum is also evidenced in our ongoing project, the remaking of the Confucian rites. In a hybrid virtual world that incorporates all the real-life video recordings that we made of the reenactment of the Confucian archery ceremony, the viewer can freely navigate its temple environment and choose whichever video sequence they want to enter. Having created all these unique digital assets, our next challenge was to create new exhibition experiences with innovative new media concepts and designs, so that the public would become attracted, immersed, and engaged with our Atlas of Maritime Buddhism narrative. The most recent exhibition was at the City University of Hong Kong Gallery, and I'll take you on a walkthrough. We first encounter a map of the Great Circle of Buddhism, showing the overland and maritime routes across Asia. Then an animation of the monsoonal trade routes, showing porcelain going east to west and spices west to east. Buddhist monks accompanied these ships to protect sailors from storms and pirates on these dangerous voyages. The first exhibition room highlights the key themes of the Atlas. Firstly, those famous monks that made extraordinarily long travels across Asia. Then the topics of transmission of the teaching, followed by Buddhist stupa architecture, then the aniconic and embodied representation of the Buddha, and ending with the most revered maritime bodhisattvas, Avalokiteshvara and Guang. The exhibition features treasured objects loaned by Hong Kong collectors, and these are conjoined with animations of photogrammetric models that we made of the most significant Buddhist sculptures across Asia. Perhaps the most ambitious aspect of our ATLAS project was the panoramic photography of hundreds of Buddhist sites across 7 countries. Our proprietary linear navigator lets you travel from India to China and visit these sites along the way. Another presentation of these panoramas was in our proprietary panoramic navigator. Inside a circular screen, visitors could rotate the projected image and choose which of the 7 countries they wanted to visit. Here the visitor has chosen to go to Myanmar, travelling over the ocean, then arriving on shore and crossing a carpeted landscape to arrive at and enter one or other of the panoramic sites there. Once arrived, the viewer can rotate their point of view over the entire 360-degree scene. This projected image can also be viewed coming through the outside of the cylindrical screen. Besides the panoramic imagery, we also shot gigapixel spherical photographs inside Indian Buddhist caves. These could be interactively explored by viewers inside our hemispherical projection eye-dome. The visitor could rotate the image space and switch from one cave to another. Another of these eye domes showed spherical videos that we recorded of Buddhist chanting and rituals. And in the last room, there is a panel of photographs taken of the fieldwork. Also in the last room are pictures on the floor whose QR codes enable you to enter and view spherical Buddhist scenes using your smartphone. These are some examples of these sticker images and the spherical virtual scenes they offer the smartphone or tablet viewer. Of course, this installation is fantastically popular with kids. I'd just like to highlight again some of our proprietary technologies used in this exhibition. Here, the linear navigator that dates from 1997, and the panoramic navigator that has gone through various iterations also since 1997. The iDomes, using projected spherical photography or cinematography, are very effective means of giving the viewer an intensely immersive and enjoyably interactive experience. The Atlas of Maritime Buddhism exhibition was first designed for the Foguangshan Buddha Museum in Taiwan. Because of the COVID outbreak there, its opening was delayed till just this month. Actually, our City U exhibition is to a large extent a copy of the one in Taiwan. The exhibition space at Foguangshan had the luxury of much higher ceilings, which we could make good use of. A major difference, though, at Foguangshan was the very few sculptural objects. So our elegantly animated photogrammetric sculptures had their own dedicated space to swirl around in, with their viewers circumambulating amongst them. The linear navigator at Foguangshan was 2 screens wide and therefore more suited to show the entire aspect of our panoramic images. Our iDomes at Foguangshan were also much larger and thereby more immersive. Here is a morning chanting ceremony at Tiantong Temple in Ningbo in China. Again, you see the viewer can rotate their point of view inside the entire spherical videographic scene. The most imposing installation in Foguangshan was this 12-meter diameter projection panorama. With its 8 projectors and 14K resolution, viewers were taken on an all-surrounding ocean journey to 7 countries and to 70 Buddhist sites. Let's visit India this time, shall we? And see the famous stupa at Sanchi. I'd like to mention that all our original panoramic photography was done in 3D, but COVID constraints on public usage of 3D glasses meant we could only show these images in mono. Our recent artworks for the Hong Kong Palace Museum take legacy Chinese artifacts and reformulate and reinvigorate them by doubling them into the domain of computational virtualization. In one of them, computational agents are derived from this drawing by Giuseppe Castiglione. 8 horses interact with visitors to the museum, which are being tracked by Kinect sensors that are fitted inside the projected image. A second installation at the Hong Kong Palace Museum creates an augmented reality whereby a virtual world populated by flying mythological horses is co-present in the real space of the exhibition gallery. This doubling and enlivening of museological artifacts is done in real time, as the horses are computationally animated by a bird flocking algorithm that gives them their artificial life. As they pass by virtual cameras, they become visible via projection on a group of suspended screens.